Bandwidth for First Updates Now is supported by YouthRobotics.tv. Catch the latest robotics events and shows on their Roku app or by going to their website at YouthRobotics.tv. Coming up on First Updates Now recap, high scores are abound and the excitement behind Stronghold is starting to build. But as this game gets more intense, does FRC need to consider video replay to get things right? Tyler Holtzman from OP Robotics joins us to talk about his experience and take on this year's game, along with his team's continued powerhouse performance. We'll recap Week 2 events, highlight what's to come for Week 3, and count down the FRC Top 25. All this and more ahead on Fun Recap. This is First Updates Now Recap, episode 1605, recorded on March 15th, 2016. Recap is brought to you by AndyMark. Are you competition ready? Count on AndyMark to be your source to stock up on batteries, boulders, components, and more at AndyMark.com. And by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at firstupdatesnow.com/audible.
What in the world? Hey, you know what, guys? Maybe we shouldn't fight anymore. Maybe we can just dance it out together. What do you say? Dance off right here, right now. Break it down for me, Wilbur. Break it down for me, Dragon. Oh, yeah. With the moves. Yeah, nah, Dragon, you don't think so, huh? Give me a little bit more, Dragon. Give me the Dragon Shuffle. Oh, ooh, ooh. With the fancy feet. With the fancy feet. All right, one more time, Wilbur. Give it to me. What's in the... Oh! Oh! Let's see the worms. Oh! All the shorties in the club. He's done!
That was too OP for me. Let's go, go, go! It's time for a recap. We're here to discuss the latest on what's going on in First Robotics. I'm Tyler Olds.
I'm Mike Stark.
I'm Justin Montoys.
And Week 2 has passed and the scores are climbing higher and higher. Before we get the recap, let's introduce our guest for tonight, Tyler Holtzman, 14-year veteran of First and drive coach for the legendary 2056 OP Robotics out of Stony Creek, Ontario, Canada. He's also a robotics system engineer for Jans Canada. Welcome to the show, Tyler. Oh, Tyler, you're muted there.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Tyler, welcome to the show, man. So just kind of give us a little background about you and kind of tell us what you do as a robotic system engineer.
So for Jans Canada, I design automation and material handling systems for the food industry. We've had sort of a long history, primarily in the food industry. And so we design custom stainless steel conveyors, like wet wash down and applications. And lately we've got into more robotics and automation, things like case packing, palletizing, a lot of things that are very much like First, but much more mundane. Things like picking up, bags of potatoes and putting them on a pallet for shipping.
Or stacking totes on top of each other. No, just kidding.
Or stacking boxes on top of each other. But when your game piece is a 50-pound bag of potatoes, field reset is really not a lot of fun.
Sure.
Well, it sounds a lot like this year. We'll be checking a bit more with Tyler, but let's start out with recap from Week 2. And bear with us, folks. We have 25 events to cover this week. Justin, which event are you starting out with today?
So I'm going to start out in Los Angeles. So in Long Beach, California, 66 teams set out to breach the Outer Works and capture the tower in the 2016 Los Angeles Regional. When the dust settled on an unfortunately low 8 qualification matches, 3 teams were able to make the most of them and finish undefeated, but with 26 ranking points, 1197, Torbots claimed the top spot after going unpicked at the San Diego Regional earlier this year. They picked the out-of-town powerhouse 987, the High Roars, to join them on the number 1 alliance and added last year's world champion 5012 Griffin Gear to complete a formidable alliance. After breezing through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, they faced a real challenge in the finals of the number 2 alliance of 294 Beach Cities Robotics, 330 the Beach Bots, and 1452 the Omni Beach Cats. I'm just kidding, just the Omni Cats. After going back and forth in 2 matches, the number 1 alliance was able to take the win in finals match 3 with a score of 179 to 125. Congrats to them, as well as 3309 Friarbots on their first ever Regional Chairman's Award.
Awesome. Don't make me laugh too hard this episode.
Right off to a good start.
There we are. So we're going to go over to Arizona North. So this 52-team regional that took place this past weekend at the Northern Arizona University in Flagstaff. So one of our favorite teams to say, Team Taters, take number 1 seed with a record of 8-2. They selected 125, the Neutrons, playing outside of the New England district, with their first pick, and they rounded out their alliance with Arizona's own Team 498, the Cobra Commanders. This alliance would cruise through quarterfinals and semifinals with scores of 127, 162, 157, and 152, beating alliances 8-5 on their way to face the number 2 seed in the finals. The slight dip in scoring was seen, but the number 1 alliance was able to take the regional in 2 matches. Congrats to 21-22. 125 and 498 in the win. And congrats to 1619 Upper Creek Robotics, haven't said that one yet this year, on their Regional Chairman's Award. And Tyler, we're going to go ahead across the ocean, fill us in on what happened in Israel.
Yeah, we'll do that. I got to just mention, too, Team Taters, 21-22, definitely has been a team on the rise the last couple of years. And they were at IRI, and I thought the most underrated team at IRI. And I really look forward to how that team's going to continue rising as we move through Stronghold. So Israel, well, technically a week 1 event, the Israel Regional kicked off last Tuesday and lasted through Thursday with 63 teams attending. Last year's championship division winner, 33-39 Bumblebee, took the number 1 seed with a 4-point ranking cushion over the number 2 seed with 28 ranking points. Selecting 1690 Orbit and 4744 Ninjas, the number 1 alliance ran into some trouble in their second quarterfinal match, with Bumblebee missing their climb and the entire alliance missing several shots. But they quickly rebounded and breezed through the finals, with both matches against the number 2 seed with a score of 175-136 and 132-122. Another trip back to championships for 33-39 and is looking for another Einstein appearance this year. Chairman's Award was awarded 21-22 the Spikes. And one thing I really got to ask, to me, out of all the events we're talking about so far, to me, Israel seems to be prime for districts moving forward. I hope we really see it going. There were 60-plus teams. I really think that'll be a good fit for them with only 1 regional there. What do you guys think? We're going to see districts in Israel anytime soon?
That's a really good. I'm just kind of looking it up too. I know how many of those are Israel teams? Are most all 60 Israel?
I think all the teams that attended the Israel Regional this year were from Israel.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm just briefly looks like it. I mean, at that point, why not? I mean, you can do it maybe on the smaller scale, send 1 field over. You could do it, a few weeks in a row and give teams more matches and maybe send some more over. And kind of the other thing I want to hit on is I feel like whenever we talk about Israel, we always talk about Bumblebee and Orbit. Like those 2 teams are just sticking out over there, So I don't know if you want to touch on what you think about districts, but
yeah, I think for a lot of areas, I think districts don't make sense. And I think for a lot of areas, districts do make sense. And Israel is like Tower said, a prime opportunity to give a lot of these teams a lot more matches, a lot more bang for their buck, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And Tyler, this is probably one of the few regionals you actually got to watch a little bit of since you were competing this past week. Did you get a chance to see Israel?
Yeah, and Orbit and Bumblebee were 2 teams that legitimately really impressed me. I think they would have been competitive at any regional in North America, and they were rocking all weekend long.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the New England district, Justin.
So in Reading, Massachusetts, 39 teams played 12 Stronghold matches, and 319 proved they were the top team at the event with an 11-1 record and a ranking score of 35 points. With their first pick, they went down to the number 5 ranked team, 1058, and with the last pick, drafted rookie sensation 61-61. And even with a slight slip up in the semifinal round, they advanced to the finals looking strong. To face them there was number 2 alliance of 4905, 3930, and 1699. This number 2 alliance didn't have a perfect run to the finals either, with a slight trip up in the quarterfinal round. When both alliances got down to business in the finals, however, it was the number 1 alliance of Big Bad Bob, the PVC Pirates, and the Patriots who claimed the title. Congrats to them, as well as 4161, the Robotics, on their district chairman's award. So I'm going to hang out in New England for a little bit longer and talk about Dean Kamen's alma mater at WPI, which played host to their own district event this past weekend as part of New England. After 12 matches and tied with ranking points, 45-64, Orange Chaos earned the number 1 ranking with 280 auto points to break the tie. With their first pick, they selected 2648 Infinite Loop, who seeded 13th overall, and it added team 1100 to the T-Hawks. The Alliance played well in the quarterfinal matches, winning handily, but couldn't overcome the number 4 Alliance of 1729, 40, 48, and 467. With the number 4 Alliance already in the finals, let's take a look at the other side of the bracket, where they also saw a good number of upsets. The number 2 Alliance was able to beat the number 7 Alliance in the quarters, only to fall to the number 6 Alliance, who had just taken down the number 3 seed. The number 6 alliance that met the number 4 alliance in the finals was comprised of 839, 1768, and 175. The upsets continued in the finals where Buzz Robotics, Rosie Robotics, and the Robo Chiefs were able to take the win. Congratulations again to 2648 Infinite Loop on their District Chairman's Award. Mike, what have you got for us next?
So we're going to head over to St. Louis, which is obviously the city of the first World Championships. And they saw their first Stronghold action this past weekend, just 3.1 miles from the Edward Jones Dome. 49 teams battled it out, but it was 1675 UPS from Wisconsin who took the number 1 seed, going 9-1 with 28 ranking points. They selected 2451 Ponage. What's up, Nick? And 4330 Rambunctious for the LMs. Cruising through the quarterfinals and semifinals, they faced the number 2 seed in the finals. Winning match 1 by 35 points. The number 2 seed of 194, 49-31, and 43-29 battled back, winning the second match by 18, but it was the number 1 seed who took the gold in the decisive rubber match. Congrats to 24-51, 16-75, and 43-30 on the win, and congrats to 32-84 Kementon 4-H Laser on their Regional Chairman's Award, Dean's List finalist, and their Safety Award.
Yeah, and a huge congrats and shout out to my buddy Kevin Koloje from 1675 UPS for a fantastic win. That's their first, second regional win, but only first one being Alliance captain. So huge congrats to them in Milwaukee. We're going to head on over to the Indiana district, the Tippecanoe and Tyler too, as Justin puts it, district event. The Indiana district kicks off this year with its first event in Tippecanoe in West Lafayette. The biggest surprise here, many of the top 8 teams might not have been teams you would have expected, resulting in very evenly spread alliances. However, it was the number 1 seed, who is the perennial favorite, 1024 Kilobytes, selecting the local team 1747 Harrison Boiler Robotics and legacy team 45 Technocats. The number 1 seed had little resistance getting into the finals and took the first finals match 137 to 117. But it was the number 3 seed of 1701, 3940, and 3147 who fought back, securing the second match 152 to 134 over the number 1 alliance. The last match, as we're showing it for you right now, tells a little bit of a different story. The number 3 alliance had a little bit of issues there, and neither alliance really played any defense, but the blue alliance of Cybertooth ran into some mechanical issues, a couple accuracy issues as well too. And in the end, the number 1 alliance takes the district event with a score of 171 to 113 over the number 3 alliance, with the district chairman's award going to 868 Tech Hounds. So did you guys have an opportunity to check out that event at all?
Unfortunately, I did not, because we were competing this weekend at the event I'm going to talk about next. But
one thing I'll say that we're starting to see, I think, a lot is we mentioned earlier, or it has been mentioned on Cheat Alpha and other places, about the number 1 seed not always winning. And I think we're starting to see the number 1 seeds having difficulties, but I think in many cases they're still coming through. But yeah, it's really good to see Kilobytes really kind of rise back up right away, and they have an event coming up next week. So it'll be interesting to see how them and Cybertooth and other teams in the district model for Indiana will work out in the future.
Definitely. All right, so we move to the Greater Pittsburgh Regional that Mike and I were both able to attend this weekend. So the California University of Pennsylvania was the venue for the 2016 Greater Pittsburgh Regional, and 52 teams played 10 qualification rounds, and when the dust settled, Team 1126, Sparks, claimed the top spot in the rankings with a record of 9-1. They selected 5406 Celtex and 1559 Devil Tech to join their alliance as they set out for gold. They met all their challenges in the quarterfinal and semifinal rounds with ease and ended up in the finals against the number 3 alliance of 1023 Bedford Express, 3015 Ranger Robotics, and 4050 Biohazard. The number 1 alliance saw its first playoff match loss and finals match won. However, they were able to take the next 2 matches to get the win. Congratulations to them, as well as another shout out to 3015 Ranger Robotics on their first ever Regional Chairman's Award.
That's that guy right there.
That's right.
Justin's being a little modest. He's definitely a huge part of that team. And congratulations to you, Justin.
Thank you very much. It was a great weekend, and you know, Mike and I were both involved with 340 in 2005 when we won their first Chairman's Award. So to kind of have a different experience, seeing another team win their first Chairman's Award was actually, 12 years later was actually pretty cool.
Was the first
Chairman's
first
one.
I don't know. I thought you had one. Just EI's other.
Just one EI last year.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Cool.
Congrats, man.
Thanks.
Meredith says congrats.
Thank you, Meredith.
All right, so moving on. We go to Mexico City. What are you laughing at? I don't know. I'm sorry, we got to keep going. This isn't our show yet.
Nick in the chat was cling bling.
All right, so Hola Mexico. Some of the most enthusiastic, heartfelt teams come from Mexico, and it was 31-58 TechBot who would grab the #1 seed, going 9-1, scoring an average of 2.5 ranking points per match. They selected 4403 Rolt and 35-27 Tech Balam Esmeralda to join their alliance. We would see this #1 alliance in the finals facing the #2 seed of 22-83, 34-78, and 58-87. 2 matches was all it needed to decide the winner, and with scores of 105 and 77, kind of low in comparison to some other regionals we've seen. 31-58, 44-03, and 35-27 would take the win. And congrats to 34-78 Lambot on their Chairman's Award. And Tyler, I don't know if you can kind of touch, because I know some of the Mexico teams sometimes come up to the Toronto regionals and stuff. I don't know if you have any input on kind of the enthusiasm and
they are a rambunctious bunch. They certainly appreciate the Spirit Award, and they really get into the swing of things when they come up here. And it's always a blast to have them. That's for sure.
Yeah, it is for sure. I remember we were up. Oh, what was it? It was 2008.
I
Was Sparks or something? Was
yeah, but even in Waterloo a few times.
They're just it's awesome. I love it. Cool. All right, Tyler. What's up with FIM?
Yeah, we're going to cover 3 FIM events this week, so it's time to check out first in Michigan, starting out with the Kettering event, really the second Kettering event in 2 weeks. 41 teams. It's an old tried and true team, 494, Martians out of Goodrich, taking the #1 seed with an 11-1 record and 35 ranking points. They selected 35-34 House of Cards and rookie 6085 Devilbots. #1 line strolled through the finals with ease, but quickly ran into trouble, losing the first match against the #6 seed with rookie captain 5926 Robotics, along with their alliance partners 3707 Techno Dogs and 5203 Volatile Chaos Inhibitors, 121-77. The #1 alliance would strike back with a 118-100 victory in Finals 2. But in Finals 3, the #1 alliance faced issues when 35-34 tipped over with 45 seconds left in the match. This essentially incapacitated the #1 alliance, and with a hanging ability of 59-26, the #6 alliance took the district victory with a score of 123-81. Also, a huge congrats to the District Chairman's Award going to 2604 Metal and Soul. Moving on to Lakeview, our second FIM event took place at Lakeview in Battle Creek, which, by the way, in my opinion, would be a far cooler name for a district than Lakeview. Write that down. While there were not too many teams that were known outside the FIM area out of the 40 teams here, it was one of the few teams, 85 Bob, who took the #1 seed with a 9-3 record and 29 ranking points. Bob selected 28-34 Bionic Blackhawks and 52-62 Two-Paw Robotics as their alliance partners. This elimination bracket was all about the #1 alliance, and with the exception of a close call in the first quarterfinal and a hiccup in the first semifinal match, the #1 alliance completely destroyed the rest of their matches, including decisive victories against the #6 alliance of 51-94, 59-80, and 36-58, with scores of 160-22 and 150-90. Congrats to the #1 alliance, along with 28-34, getting the Kling Bling of their District Chairman's Award. See, I said it too.
Perfect.
And moving on, our last of the 3 FIM matches took place at St. Joseph with 41 teams, including 3 of the RoboDogs teams, Wobot and the Average Joes. But it was 27-67 Strikeforce who took the #1 seed with an 11-1 record and 35 ranking points. Wasting no time in selecting the #2 seed of Average Joes and 50-69 the Iron Giants, the #1 seed went down in their first match against the #8 seed, but then gained traction and dug their way into the finals. There they met the #3 seed of 34-52, 36-88, and 24-05. The first match came down to the wire with the #1 alliance pulling off a 137-131 victory. And match 2 was a bit of a different story, as the #1 alliance was able to assert their high goal-scoring dominance along with a few foul points and won the match comfortably with a score of 134-103. A well-earned victory in the #1 alliance and a very well-earned DCA by Team 66 Grizzly Robotics out of Ypsilanti.
All right, we're going to keep it going here. Appreciate everyone kind of sticking through us as we talked to the top of the segment. 25 events to recap, so it's kind of a tall order. But I'm going to talk about New York City. The Big Apple saw 66 competing for gold in Midtown Manhattan after 8 qualification matches and a record of 7-1. Team 375 Robotic Plague took the top spot. They picked 1796 and 806 to join them on their quest for gold. Those plans were derailed in the semifinal rounds, however, as the #4 alliance of 5030, 694, and 5016 were able to complete the upset and advance to the finals. The #4 alliance played 2. That's right. The #4 alliance played 2 matches in the finals against the #3 alliance of 3914 Rohawks, 55-78 Red Raiders Robotics and 30-17 Patriots. However, in both of those matches, the number 3 alliance of the Second Mouse, Stypulse, and Huntington Robotics took the win. Special shout out to the Second Mouse 5030 as they're mentored by a 340 alum, Joel, who worked with Mike and I on 340, and they've come up and used the practice field that 3015 sets up here in Rochester. So we're very happy to see them be successful. And congrats as well to 3646 Integra from Istanbul, Turkey, on their regional chairman's award.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
good for them. All right, we're going to go down the coast to Orlando, the second of 2 regionals that I previewed last week. We got our first look at 233, the pink team. As many predicted, they did quite well, going 8-1 through qualifications, taking the number 1 seed. They selected another Florida favorite in Powerhouse and 180 Spam. On the blue lines, their thing says "Not your mama's luncheon meat."
Really?
Yeah.
Is their team quote?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
These two selected Team 4592 M3 Mighty Mechanical Mustangs with their second pick and headed to the finals. Taking down the Oink Oink Boom and company in the first round, they defeated the number 4 seed in the second round and headed to the finals to take on the 7 seed. With scores of 151, 114, 233, 180. With scores of 151 and 114, 233, 180, and 4592 won the Orlando Regional. And congrats on the Kling Bling to 180 Spam for also taking home the Chairman's Award. So now we got the video kind of playing up there. When I first was looking at a couple matches from Orlando, I hated this view.
Yeah, very disorienting.
The more I watched it, the more I kind of liked it a little bit. I don't know. It's just definitely different than what other full field videos are, but it kind of grew on me a little bit. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts. But
I think if it was almost like a direct straight down, like you can tell it's angled a little bit, and that's what I think throws it off. But otherwise, I mean, it's cool to get that viewpoint of it, though. I think you lose a lot of the features of a robot.
Yeah, you do. You do definitely miss the features because it's more like almost 2D like. But definitely, I thought it was interesting. So go ahead.
I can't tell who anyone is here.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. But
some are blue and some are red.
Yeah. But like I said, it did grow on me too. So
yeah, once you figured them out, yeah, absolutely. All right, let's move on to the Arkansas Rock City Regional. This regional brings together many familiar teams, but the favorite going in had to be the legendary Swerve Drive, a 16, and last year's Einstein team of 2338. After a crazy power outage, which cut one round of matches short, it was 16 Bomb Squad who would take the number 1 seed with a 7-1 record ahead of the undefeated 3310 with a ranking score of 25. It didn't take much for 16 to recognize the power of 3310 Blackhawk Robotics as they were selected by the number 1 alliance along with rookies 6055 Pioneers. The elimination matches were a little contest for the number 1 alliance, and they swept through the finals, knocking off the number 2 alliance of 39-37, 30-39, and 45-76 with scores of 147-120 and 157-116. Congratulations to the number 1 alliance, along with Team 932 Circuit Chargers for their Chairman's Award win at Arkansas Rock City.
Very good. The power outage. That's crazy.
We
heard of that.
We posted a picture on our Facebook page, I believe, a couple days ago, and a shout out, I think it was 2338 that sent that picture over to us. But it's kind of funny to see how times are, because now everybody has a cell phone with flashlights on them. Yeah. So there was a power outage, but there definitely wasn't a lack of light.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
I think Meredith, I think, posted in chat it was for 4 hours.
Wow.
That's crazy. It's kind of like the flashlight match we had when we did the WV Rocks event, the 26-hour event. Yeah.
But Nick's showing a picture right now, too, if you guys didn't see that.
Wait, did they? Sorry, this might be a stupid question. They didn't keep going, did they?
Not during that. I don't think so.
That'd be pretty.
I think you need power for the field.
Oh yeah, good call.
That's it. Okay, that's why I said stupid.
But also interesting. I think at the Alamo Regional, where 148 was competing this weekend, somebody pulled a fire alarm and they all had to kind of evacuate. I never heard of that before either. So crazy stuff. It's crazy. Yeah, crazy kids. All right, so I'm going to talk about Pinu, the Pacific Northwest.
I did it 3 times. You got 3 of them.
I know. So 38 teams hit the slopes at Glacier Peak High School to continue district play in the Pacific Northwest. 76 qualification matches were played in total, with each team seeing 12 of them. And when it came time for alliance selections, with a record of 11-1, 25-22, Royal Robotics took the top spot. For their alliance partners, they selected 3663 Cedar Park Robotics and 4915 Spartronics and began their quest for gold. Averaging 108.6 in the quarterfinal and semifinal matches, they advanced to the finals to play the number 2 alliance of 3826 SRF, 4911 Cyber Knights, and 4205 the Robo Cubes. Finals match 1 was decided by only 1 point, and the slight edge went to the number 2 alliance. However, the number 1 alliance wouldn't go away that easily and battled back to win the next match to push it to a third. I don't have all the details, but in the finals, match 3, 4915 was replaced by 2976 Spartabots, and the new number 1 alliance gelled quickly and set the event high score in the final match to take home the gold. Congrats to them, as well as another shout out to 4911 the Cyber Knights on their District Chairman's Award. So we're going to move from Glacier Peak to Wilsonville on the Pacific Northwest. 36-team event. 2 teams were standouts, and they finished 1 and 2 respectively. And those 2 teams were 1425 Error Code 0. It's X0, so I don't know if it's like 0 or some crazy way to say it. And 4488 Shockwave. It didn't surprise anyone to see them team up in the playoffs, and they added 3711 Iron Mustang. This alliance clicked early and often and were able to easily advance to the finals, where they met the number 2 alliance of Mean Machine 2471, CV Robotics 955, and the Cyborg Seagulls 3673. Being one of the few events that posted their finals matches so early, I was able to watch some of these exciting final matches. For the number 1 alliance, it was 1425 zipping around the field and filling the low goal, while 4488 was playing some tough defense at times, while 2471 did some nice shooting on the high goal. In finals match 1, however, hard to believe, I'm guessing, excuse me, but the number 2 alliance did not want to call a backup bot and instead played that first match 2 robots down in order to get their alliance at full strength, and it just almost worked. The Blue Alliance came back strong for finals match 2, winning it at 119-1, but in the rubber match, however, the number 1 seed pulled away with a win of 153-110. Congrats to all teams on a great finals, and a special shout out to 1540, the Flaming Chickens, on their District Chairman's Award. So this was one of the first times I think I saw they purposefully just kind of threw the match, played 3v1, and then their alliance partners kind of worked and got better, and then they kind of came back in the next match and won, but just that close.
Just gives you that turnaround time.
Yeah, you don't want to call a backup bot, you don't have a timeout. What can you do?
Survive. It's cool. All right. So up next, I think we got a video for this one too. We're going to talk about Greater Kansas City. And I had previewed this regional last week as well. And I mentioned how 1986 and 1806 are always kind of the favorites in this regional in this area. And just wasn't sure if we'd kind of see these teams team up again. So as it stood, 1986 Team Titanium would take the number 1 seed, while 1806 SWAT took the number 3 seed. 1986 did end up selecting 1775, the Tiger Bites, with their first selection, and rounded out their alliance with 4455, the Burger Bots. This alliance would beat the 8 and 4 alliances on their way to the finals, taking on the previously mentioned 1806 alliance with their partners of 1987 and 935. 2 hard-fought matches decided the winners of the regional, and congrats to that number 1 alliance of 1986, 1775, and 4455 on the win. And congrats to 1764 on their first ever regional chairman's award. They have had some EIs in the past, but we kind of just had mentioned that. Just how awesome it is just to win your first chairman's award, and the feeling and the excitement from your students and everybody across the board is just something really special. So congrats to them. And 1986 just once again just killing it in that area, and just have an awesome robot. We're kind of watching them right there, and have an awesome climber as well. It's kind of fun. They had a close-up video of a climb from one of the matches, I think, that I saw on Facebook. But
how many of their autonomous modes do you think that they use? They toted 25.
That's right, in their premiere night video. That's a good question. Maybe we should follow up with somebody from there and get an idea.
Maybe somebody's on from in there. The driver from 1986 is in chat. How many autonomous modes did you use? We'll get back to that once we cover Alamo.
Sure.
So. All right, so Alabama, the regional that defines Texas, 66 teams, including 148, 231, 624, 1477, 2468, 2789, and 2848, just to name a few. Obviously, the perennial favorites, 148 Robo Wranglers, that locked in the number 1 seed, going 8-0 with 26 ranking points, with a 4 ranking point cushion over the number 2 seed. 148 picked up 231 High Voltage, along with 5726 STEM X, another regional dominated by the number 1 alliance. Even the powerhouse of 624, along with the alliance captain of 3005 and partner 3676, could not put up much of a fight. Number one alliance would average nearly an 80-point margin of victory and took the finals matches 160 to 113. Yeah, not kidding. And 168 to 110. And that's only about 50 points each match, which means that there were some of their matches they won by about 100 points on. So crazy. Yeah, 140 just rolling along with the Einstein train, and another year for the championship for them. And we got to give a big shout out to the Chairman's Award winner, the 2013 championship winners, 1477 Texas Torque.
Awesome. Texas Torque. Oh, that was on your old laptop. All right, so we kind of got word in the chat there. They used at least 7 different autos there. They had some trouble with their auto shot, which is kind of
He claims they have 27 autonomous modes now. We'll see it when it happens, 1986.
There you go. The ball is in
They're probably like, okay, same autonomous mode, pause 1 second. Same autonomous mode, pause 2 seconds. Guys, we have a lot of modes here.
All right, so we're going to head over to the Chesapeake District, starting with the Greater DC event. The first of 2 Chesapeake District events took place at Walt Whitman High School in Bethesda, Maryland. 39 teams assembled, but it was 14-18 the Vae Victus, fresh off their win at Northern Virginia District event, who took the #1 seed. They selected 836, 29-12, and headed to the eliminations. They beat the #2 alliance and #4 alliance on the way to the finals to face the #3 alliance of 55-87, 686, and 45-14. Outscoring their opponents in the 2 finals matches by 109 points combined, the Vae Victus, the Robo Bees, and the Panthers took home the gold. I don't know what it said there. And congrats to 1885 on the District Chairman's Award. Was 1885 that team with the really big ramps in 2007?
What team?
1885.
Yes.
It was, wasn't it? They were in our division. We're going to move over to the other Chesapeake event, Southwest Virginia. So Blackbirds, Virginia, laid host to 34 teams fighting for gold this past weekend in the other CHS event that took place. Advancing to the finals as the 5 seed was 346, 1086, and 2534. They would face the #6, yes, again, a #5 or 6 alliance in the finals, of 3455, 1262, and 977. Close, low scoring matches. We're seeing the 2 finals matches with winning scores of 112 and 120, but it was the #5 alliance of 346, the Robohawks, 1086, Blue Cheese, and 2534, the Lakers, who took the gold. Congrats to 1086 on the double gold Kling Bling for taking home the DCA. And we're seeing, like, as we're just saying, that's how many Kling Blings that we're seeing. And that gold is like out of all the Kling Blings you could have, because you have silver, and silver, gold. Or gold, silver, but gold is like.
Thanks for bringing that up.
I'm sorry. I know that's deep, but the gold Kling Bling is like the tops, obviously. But
still missing that one.
All right, go ahead, Tyler. On to Columbus.
On to Columbus. So Georgia District started off their first ever event with the Columbus District event. 40 teams looked to capture the #1 seed, and after 12 rounds, 1746 took the #1 seed and picked up 1648 and 3091. Everything like peachy in Georgia for the #1 alliance until in the semis, the #1 alliance ran into the #4 alliance of 4188, 4468, and 5074 and went down. The #4 alliance would assume the reins and outmaneuver the #2 alliance at 2974, 2415, and 4193 with a 108 to 97 and 115 to 104 victories. Congratulations to 4468 Fernbank Lynx, 4188 Columbus Space Program, and 5074 Robo Mustangs for taking the first ever district event in Georgia. And congratulations to 1648 G3 Robotics for their District Chairman's Award win.
So I just have a quick comment on Columbus. Some of you guys remember 4468 was Fernbank Lynx. They were premier night team. Yeah. And I remember their video was so well shot. I was like, guys, I'd really like a Fernbank Lynx hoodie. And sure enough, not too long after that, showed up at my door. So I have to thank Andrew Morris from 4468 for hooking me up with some sweet Fernbank.
Why do you get all the sweet?
I asked for it.
Gotta ask. Send me stuff.
Yes, send us all stuff. We'll take it.
So thanks a lot, Andrew.
All right, so we're going to head over to the Wake County. That's part of the North Carolina district. So in Raleigh, North Carolina, they hosted 32 teams in the quest for gold. It was Team 4935 T-Rex, who took the #1 seed after 12 matches. They will go ahead and select teams 2642 Pit Pirates and 3661 the Robo Wolves to play in the eliminations with them. In the finals, this alliance will beat the #2 alliance of 435, 2059, and 5544, who beat the #7 and #6 alliances to get there. With scores of 137 to 104 64 and 123 to 87. Teams 49-35, 26-42, and 36-61 would take the gold. Congrats on another Kling Bling double gold team, 26-42, the Pit Pirates for their win and the District Chairman's Award. They already have 3 medals on the year. They took home an EI last weekend at the Guilford County event. So an awesome start to the pit for the season for the Pit Pirates, 26-42.
Very good.
All right, 2 events left to talk about here today, and we saved the 2 best for last. Definitely ones that we previewed last week. Many great events this weekend, as mentioned. With the Israel Regional, we had 25, but really these events all illuminated the shadows compared to the next 2. Starting with the Greater Toronto East Regional, many eagerly awaited the debut of 118, 1114, 2056, and many others. 2056 and 1114 have won more events together than any other team in history. And with 2056 looking to take their 23rd event, the question is, where did 118 fall into this romance that 2056 and 1114 really have? And this question just kept getting more and more as the event progressed. This question was finally answered to the number 1 ranked team at 2056, who had a ranking score of, get this, in just 10 matches, 35 ranking points. An average of 3.5 ranking points per match, shocked the world by picking last year's world champions 118 Robonauts instead of 1114. Symbiotics was quickly picked up, though, by the number 2 Alliance, captained by 1241 Theory 6, and it seemed like there would be nothing stopping these 2 juggernaut alliances from meeting in the finals. Both alliances selected defensive-oriented robots, with the number 1 alliance originally taking 2634, but after they broke down for 2 matches, they took back up 746, and the number 2 alliance drafted 2935 with their awesome blocker. And if you see it on the video shown, that smiley face and frowny face thing is really, really awesome and funny. But both of them chose different strategies on how their robots were deployed on the field. As these alliances clashed in the finals, both seemed fairly evenly matched, with a slight advantage going to the number 1 alliance. But in the finals, with only a few seconds for finals match 1, Theory 6 scored a last-second boulder, allowing the number 2 alliance to capture the red tower, and 118 of the number 1 alliance missed its grapple and then moved off the batter, losing the capture for red. Match number 2, which is showing up on the screen now, was another nail-biter, and if we take a look at the match, really it showed red giving a very nice comeback on here. You saw the number 1 alliance really start to get back together, and you see with 50 seconds remaining, a comfortable lead so far. Did you guys get a chance to see this match, and what did you see?
I did. I mean, it's a classic first Canada match that's going on right here, and it's just like you can watch these videos like kind of over and over again, and it's just we've seen this before. I remember we took that clip from 2012, I think, with 1114 versus 2056. It's just you have that kind of drama in it. You have the 22 regional wins drama in it. It's just all eyes across scoring tables, across different events, or it was like on GTR East this past weekend, and it was another one for the ages in the books.
Yeah. Well, I could talk, but I'd like to hear from Tyler a little bit about what went on there.
These finals were absolutely wild, and when we got to the finals, we knew we were in for a battle, and losing the first finals match with the way we did wasn't a shocker. Like, we knew that it was going to be a few points either way, and the end game in this year's game can swing matches wildly. Like, you miss one robot on your platform and you're losing the capture, you're losing the challenge, and then boom, there's 30 points. Yep. So matches can swing very, very dramatically, very quickly in the end game, and we saw that in finals match 1. Finals 2, we had a little more luck and pulled out a victory. And even finals match 3, if you watch that real closely, it could have gone either way. Like one ball, 1114 gets on the batter, 1114 pulls off their hang, and we're packing up empty-handed. So they were amazing matches, and it was a pleasure to be in them. So I'm just happy that we're still in one piece.
And an amazing match that we saw there. And it showed on the, I don't know if they showed the final scores, but the number of alliance, you guys took the second match with 200 points. At the time was a world record over the Red Alliance of 179. Third match, let's talk about that a little bit. Red started to really take over. You guys in the number 1 alliance with some really key shots for both Tyler, your team, 2056 and 118, taking the Greater Toronto Regional with a score of 180 to 140. And Tyler, you guys extended the streak to 23 consecutive regional victories. Chairman's Award going to 45-25. Renaissance Robotics, by the way. But I guess, Tyler, what does it mean to you, as a drive coach, as being part of OP Robotics, 23 event victories in a row? I mean, what does that mean to you guys? Because for all of us on the background, it's like, oh, they won another event, but you guys are the ones really experiencing it, and I can't just imagine how nerve-wracking and how much pressure really can be on you guys for that.
Yeah, it's something else. I always tell my drivers that the day we lose an event, we'll still be the same team that we were the day before we lost an event, and sooner or later it's going to happen. I mean, right. There are plenty of events where we probably should have lost, and something crazy happened that we didn't. I mean, 2011, for example.
There you go. That's what Justin's alluding to.
2009, for example. 2012, for example. These were all events where, by all rights, we probably should have lost, and then I don't know what to say other than we got lucky on a number of occasions.
Well, if you look at, I always think about with FRC, kind of like the World Series of Poker a little bit, where you can be really, really good, but there's always got to be an element of luck in it, no matter what you do. I mean, when you have so many different competitors in the event, skill goes a very long way, but there's always that little element of luck in there as well too. So, and Tyler, I got to ask a tough question. You guys in 11-14 have won more events together than any other combination of teams in FRC. You played against, each other a couple times as well, but how hard a decision was it for you to take 118 over 11-14? And can you kind of tell us a little bit about that, the thought process that went through that?
That was by far the toughest decision we've ever made as going into the elimination rounds. And Friday night, they were basically side by side on our list. We couldn't really decide one way or the other. Saturday morning, 118 had a number of just stellar matches, and that sort of made up our mind for us that we were going to go with them. I mean, I'm an alumnus of 11-14, for those of you who don't know, and our two teams are extremely close. We practice together, we hang out together. But at the same time, we're both professional about our decisions, and if they were the number one seed and we were at an event and there was a team that they felt was better, I would want them to pick them over us. I would not want them to choose us out of doing us a favor or whatever. You should always pick the best team that's available. And we always maintain that in Canada there's no set in stone rule that yes, we're always going to pick 11-14. So,
and you make a good point, Tyler, is that it's really, I mean, you can be best friends with somebody, but your goal is to win a regional, right? And you're going to do, whatever decision that takes you, that's the route you need to take, right? And in this case, it was in your best interest to pick 118 in this as well too. And I'm sure you guys don't have any regrets. You guys won the regional, right? So it had to be the right selection to go with. And that's got to be just a tough decision. But I think at the same time, I think a lot of people kind of put that up on a bit of a pedestal at the same time. And you just got to realize that you can be friends with anybody, but the goal of any team is to win a regional, and that's what you want to do, and that's what you got to do.
Yeah, and then that's really what it just comes down to. So, and we've always wanted to play with 118. We've played with them at IRI, and last year we really wanted to play with them at IRI, but the two robots just weren't compatible. So, it is what it is. So here we are.
Are there any other teams at the event that we might not have covered that you kind of want to give props to or shout out to?
Holy smokes, there were like a dozen teams there that could have won events. 2013, 610, 1241, 1305. Just off the top of my head, 4476. There were a number of alliances that could have won regionals elsewhere quite handily. And I mean, how many alliances scored 179 points and lost?
Right?
Yes.
And I think the average, if you look at the average score, and I didn't crunch the numbers, but definitely a much higher level up in Canada than what some of the other events going on around the world were.
Yeah. So there were just a dozen phenomenal teams there that deserve recognition.
And I think proof of that is if you look at the the rankings for Greater Toronto Regional East. I didn't want to pick on any other regional, so I'll pick on the regional that our team was at last week. The number one team, 1126, was number one ranked team, had 106 goal score. Team 2056, the number one ranked team at Greater Toronto East, had 514 goal score. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
331 auto mode. I mean,
what team is the equivalent just in goal score to play that? Like, where does that? What position does like 100 fall in for?
it gets pretty mixed in there. But like, I just could not. When I saw that, I thought I was looking at the defense score, because I see defenses in the 500s all the time. When I saw their goal scores in 500 too, I was like, unbelievable. I was blown away. It was just incredible.
All right. Well, congratulations, Tyler, to you for a great victory. And we got one more event to cover, Justin.
All right. So I'm sticking with my Best Coast theme from last week. So I'll move from Los Angeles and talk about the Central Valley Regional in Anaheim. So many eyes were on this regional as 254 and 1678 took the Robots to the field. And wouldn't you know it, after 12 matches, those were the top two teams at the event, with 1678 taking the top spot overall. Well, both teams were level. With most other teams in defense points, score challenge points, and auto points, their goal scoring is what set them apart from the field. When they decided to pair up for the playoffs and added 3970 Duncan Dynamics to their alliance, it wasn't if they were going to win, it was by how much. The number ended up being a 108-point margin of victory and a 118 margin of victory in the second match against the Narrate Alliance of 1323 Madtown Robotics, 5817 Unirex, Team 8, and backup bot, Team 5677, replaced Team 8. So as Team 8, not only is their team number Team 8, but they're also their team name is Team 8. I learned that when I was doing this. So congrats to the number one alliance on their win, as well as to Team 812, the Minute Mechanics, on their Regional Chairman's Award.
So we also had a high score set there as well, too, in finals match number one of 205. That was with 10 points in fouls. Tyler, do you know for your finals match, were there any fouls in that match?
The 200-point match?
Yes.
Yes, there were, I believe, 20 points of fouls.
Okay. So I was just curious what the unpenalized world record would be. So, but we'll go 205 with penalties. That's currently the bar that's set. And we got a lot more events coming up as well as 6 events to go on the lookout for. So each week, Mike, Justin, and myself be selecting 2 regionals that we want to preview for you that are approaching. Justin, let's start with you. What events do you have on the lookout?
So I have a couple of real quick previews as we try to kind of get through this aspect of it, especially after a 25 event recap. So down in the Bayou, the headliners of this event include 233, the Pink Team, who will bring their machine up from the Sunshine State as last year's Bayou finalist 364 Team Fusion. Spectrum 3847 will be there, as well as 1912, a local team, and last year's winners 3946 and 3039. So it'll be interesting to watch that combination of established teams with some great up-and-comers at this event. And also, I'm going to talk about the Tech Valley Regional. So after 2 years after attending this regional myself, I'll be missing this weekend's event and also missing some great teams, unfortunately. Among them, coming all the way from Hawaii, Team 359, the Hawaiian kids, who are looking to build on their regional win in Lake Superior. Why Team 359 would come all the way to Hawaii, to Troy, New York, is beyond me. But they're going to have a great time. Team 48 Delphi Elite will be looking to rebound from a quarterfinal exit in Pittsburgh this past weekend. Team 20 will be bringing their machine to the field for the first time. And an up-and-coming Canadian power of 3990 Tech for Kids will also be there. So I'm disappointed not to be attending, but definitely going to be following along all weekend, as we'll see many of these teams play next week, just a few hours down the interstate at the Finger Lakes Regional.
A lot of those teams are going to be at the next event that you're going
to. Just a correction, I just got to add, the high score is actually 210. I do apologize about that.
210?
Yep, 210 in quarterfinals, match 1-2 at CBR. I was looking at the wrong part.
Oh, gotcha. All right. So I'm going to kind of take a little quick preview to Australia. The Australian Regional will be hosting 53 teams from all over Australia, as well as teams from India, China, Taiwan, Singapore, and the U.S. Winners from the 2015 Australian Regional, teams 4253 TAS Robotics, will be making a return to the field, obviously, looking for a rerun. I think it's awesome that so many different countries get to assemble there in Australia. I know there was, I think 359 went there last year and a couple others, but it just must be an awesome cultural experience there, just having different languages and cultures and countries all kind of assemble there and just compete. So that's kind of cool. We're going to check back next week and see how they did. So from there, we're going to go to into the Mar District, the Springside Chestnut Hill event. They're going to be hosted by 1218 Vulcan Robotics in a little We will see a return to the field by many teams such as 11, 193, 708, 709, 1218, and others. 1218 Vulcan Robotics will be looking for their first district win of the season, while 11 looks to improve on their quarterfinal outing at H&H. Mort Beta looks to up their silver medal from Mount Olive to gold here at this event. Always a lot of action in Mar. Not a lot of huge names in Mar are attending this event, like the 341s and 25, stuff like that. But it's always fun to see who comes out of these events. And like you said, just even these 11, Mort and Mort Beta, 1218, those are all teams that have lots of success there in Mar already. So take it away, Tyler.
All right, I'm going to go on the lookout for the event that I was originally going to stop by this week, and that's the Central Illinois Regional. This is a Midwest Power Packed event, regional with 111, 876, 1094, 1625, 1732, 1756, 2169, 2041, and 4143, just to name a few. These are all teams that could easily take the #1 seed and would probably have plenty to pick from as their #1 pick. I have to go with me in my gut. I feel that the perennial powerhouse of the last few years has really been 2481, the Robotics, and I'm going to choose them to pick the #1 seed. Even with a tall robot this year, this team is focused on high-powered scoring and dominance with an Einstein appearance in 2014 and the #1 seed in their division last year, and have won their last 3 regionals. Here's also another one for you. I foresee a comeback, and not too much of a globe here, but from the legendary 111. They've had a couple down years, but Wild Sting could easily be up on the top, and I could see those two teams forming an unstoppable alliance, and Wild Sting really reasserting what used to be complete dominance in Illinois by 111. We've seen some other teams come up, as Justin says, the cream tends to rise a bit, but 111, I think, really looking for another year for them. Well, the reason I'm not going to go to watch Central Illinois anymore is because I'll now be actually traveling to Indianapolis on Friday to MC the Walker Warren district event in Indiana. This will actually be my first district event I've ever attended, so I'm really excited for that. And it's really cool to see a packed house of great teams. Many who had a great run last week at Tippecanoe. 71 is attending, 234, 868. Last week's winners 1024 and 1747, and last week's finalists 3940 are going to battle it out to take the second district of the year. I can really see 1024 honing in on their game once again and possibly partnering with what looks like to be a great robot. We saw them on premiere night, and in North Carolina they got their feet wet. 234 Cyber Blue, as well as we see them partnering potentially with a team that they beat in the finals 3940. And if you're going to the event, come down and say hi to me. I'd love to see you down there, and love to hear that you like the show.
And you'd like some free gear.
Yeah, right. There's your drop-off spot. Sweet. All right, guys, it's time to get up on the soapbox this week. We're going to talk about the controversial discussion that's been getting a lot of buzz in the last few days.
Yes, it is.
Drum roll, please. Video replays, are they needed in FRC? I believe the answer is yes. I'm going to come out right now and say that. But before you go all crazy on me, I'm going to say what really needs to happen is to figure out what are video replays actually needed for. Well, every sport is different. I'm going to lump first into the sports talk for this discussion. Every single sport that has implemented video replay has some sort of issues and has many years of testing and failures to hone on what is their product, and many are still not perfect. So the question stands, if FIRST were to implement some sort of video replay, what would be reviewable? It's absolutely absurd to consider that any type of play is reviewable at all times during the match, as this would surely happen, and it would totally slow down the event. And the one thing that kind of irks me is that many of the same people who are shouting for replays at all times are also the same ones who are asking for more than 8 matches at a regional. If you had more time than that cycle, that means less matches, guys. So we need to come up with a solution for match replay, and it would really have to be standardized as we go from event to event. This likely means that you need video equipment that is standardized across all events, or at least one camera that could be used specifically for replays, or kind of a full field camera. Sorry, but accepting someone's camera feed where I can't tell, if it's a robot or if they spill nacho cheese on part of their screen, just not acceptable to me. In addition, the ref would have to quickly go back and review the video. So how do we implement a potential solution to move forward? Many have said in the off-season event, I got to give props to my buddy Ryan Donio from St. Louis, but off-season events to me are the key to piloting this. Events have free reign to test and implement solutions and to continue to iterate as we go into next year. Let me give a suggestion for an off-season event. Here's what I want to see. Video replay challenges only allowed during elimination matches. Each alliance gets one challenge card, just like an alliance timeout card, and must be presented to the head referee within 2 minutes of posting the final score, just like a timeout. The challenge has to be specific on what the offense the referee should review, and I challenge off-season events this year to go out and try different solutions to improve the first experience. In the end, remember, referees, guys, they're volunteers too. Mistakes happen, and trust me, I'm sure that you are not always right when you think the ref is wrong. Keep gracious professionalism going and tackle this issue with a level head, guys. We all need to come together to find the right solution. We know that First hears us and listens to us, and hopefully will enact the way that is going to benefit First, regardless of which way that's going to be. While giving my rant, what say you, master of 23 consecutive regional victories, Tyler, about video replays?
I was going to say exactly the same thing, to be honest. The Alliance timeout coupon, the backup robot coupon, the challenge coupon, and you get one per tournament. No challenges in qualifying, and yeah, that's your challenge. They do have to standardize if they do pursue this, but to be honest, the amount of effort that they're going to put into developing a instant replay system might just be better spent developing a game that you don't need instant replays in.
Very true, very true. But just
Like
think, if they do get that, maybe we can get standardized webcast feeds everywhere too. And
Okay,
Exactly.
That'll
That's
be,
what I was
that'll be
going
my
to say.
segue.
That was my segue.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, but you're absolutely right. I mean, we're talking about once you start talking about consistent, standardized video. I mean, I watched the First in Canada, the Pacific Northwest, First in Michigan. They have unbelievable high definition video. You watch some other matches, like, is someone like just filming with their cell phone? Like, what's going on? It's horrible. You don't want to watch it.
No.
And just a standardization across the board. What Tyler mentioned is absolutely right. It's a product, right? We're trying to sell a product. We're the customers of that product. I think it's worth, when we have companies that give us $5,000, $10,000, we should be able to send that company a decent video feed if they want to watch our event. Yeah. So I think, it's about time we start taking this product seriously, and I think this just makes sense to me.
I agree. So to go back real quick on you guys, I think it's only in eliminations. I agree. It's a coupon. Secondly, there needs to be a set things what is and isn't reviewable, just like in football. And unfortunately, there's a lot of things in this game and in a lot of games that are judgment calls and could never be reviewable. Like, there's a call, like if you're outside 15 inches outside your frame perimeter, that's a judgment call on the field. Like, you may never know. Yes, you're supposed to figure that out in inspection, but that would not be reviewable. So things that would maybe for this game is, did they cross the defense twice?
Exactly.
But how can you tell maybe in a video that the Sally Port door still was not in contact with your robot? It may have been. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So while that could have been reviewable, it also depends on that's also could be a judgment call on the field.
And I think that overhead camera view from, was it Florida, Orlando, would be perfect for this game.
That being said, if we're going to go this route of instant replay, it needs to be more of getting decent feeds up. And then we've been told that is not a priority at this point. Yeah. So instant replays are years down the road if we're not even close to getting reliable, good webcasts at every single event. So
and First isn't going to do it, and that's their choice, right? How do we implement change? And that's by taking where we do have control, and that's in the off-season events, and that allows us to essentially show a system the First that could work. So that's I guess my 2 cents with that is that, if we want change to happen, guys, there are opportunities for us to do it. We can't do it at the First events, the official events, because that's the way First has said it, and that's just how it is. You need to accept that, and moving forward, we need to find solutions and how we can fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right, Tyler, before we let you go, we want to congratulate you on probably what is the most amazing record First, 23 consecutive regional victories. 2056 has never not taken home a blue banner at this regional. What do you feel attributes to the success of 2056 to keep the streak alive?
Simplicity. We don't overextend ourselves. We don't build things that we are not capable of building. And in all aspects of our team, we keep things simple. Mechanical design, fabrication, programming, scouting, hotels, dinner, like you name it, it's simple. So that's the biggest piece of advice that I give teams.
And it's great to have such a shining example of that simplicity be so successful, right? Mm-hmm. Like, so many teams say, well, if we keep it too simple, maybe we won't be successful. Hello, 23 regional wins in a row. Get away from me with that. So I have to ask you, Tyler, so even though your robot's phenomenal, we know the best teams in First continue to iterate and improve. Can you give us a little bit of a a look into what might be next for the 2056 robot or the 2056 driver station moving forward.
Any
Well,
30-foot poles in plans? Oh, wait.
Yeah, the poles. Well, I have one in my garage now that's not going to be much use. So,
Did you actually buy one for moving forward?
yeah, I bought one yesterday. It was delivered
Oops.
today, and then I read the update.
Maybe first we'll reimburse your purchase.
I just don't think so. I do have to paint my ceiling though, so
I didn't realize.
yeah. To be honest, we haven't really got much planned for the robot. It performed reasonably well last weekend, and we're pretty happy with it.
Reasonably, yeah.
It's whatever.
All right. So there's been many teams, including our own, that have been inspired by your level of play throughout the years. What advice would you give to teams who are looking to take their level of robot competitiveness to the next level? And you kind of hit on it a little bit, but
yeah, simplicity is the number one thing in everything, and anything that you can do to reduce the number of components, reduce the number of parts, reduce the amount of effort that you're putting into doing something is generally a good thing. There are some teams that have more resources than others. We have a laser cutting sponsor. We have a sheet metal sponsor. We have a machine shop. But the one thing that everyone has the same amount of is time. And things that you can do to effectively use your time is, that speaks. There's nothing you can do that's not gonna help there. So using your time effectively is by far the most important thing that you can do in a 6-week season. 6-week season.
Yes, thank you. All right, Chat World, FRC Top 25 is coming right up. But let's give a big thanks to our guest, Tyler Holtzman, Team 2056 OP Robotics. Thank you so much for coming on and providing your insights for the show. And Tyler, you want to give a special thanks to one of your sponsors today. So who do you want to promote on air?
Yeah, absolutely. Vex Robotics came on board as one of our title sponsors this year, and like I was saying earlier, Vex Robotics, we're what I would consider a high resource team, and we still use Vex components everywhere in our machine because number one, it saves us time, design time, fabrication time, and you can never get that time back. And it doesn't matter whether you're a high resource team or a low resource team. Using these products are going to save you time, and they're going to make you more competitive on the field.
So are you Team IFI? What put you over to Team IFI then?
Sorry, say that again.
So are you guys not a part of this Team IFI, or are you?
No, we absolutely are part
that's
of
right.
IFI. But,
yeah, that's what. Okay. Cool. No, that's true. They do have a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, no, just phenomenal stuff.
Yeah, and there's, as you learn just a little bit, there's many great suppliers out there, and VexPro is definitely a fantastic supplier that they have as teams. And we, as my team, we use VexPro too. We use VexPro and AndyMark and West Coast Products and all the other ones out there. So thank you once again, Tyler. And, by coincidence, actually, Nick and we're going to see you on Thursday as your work brings you through Wisconsin.
Yes.
So hopefully we'll get to show you some great Wisco hospitality with some delicious cheese and diet sodas as you come through. But thanks so much for being on, Tyler. We appreciate it, and best of luck to you moving forward onto Waterloo.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
yeah,
Tyler.
thanks a lot,
Thanks,
Tyler.
Tyler.
We'll see you in a couple weeks. All right.
As we set up for FRC Top 25, let's take that quick break to remind you that this episode of Recap is brought to you by AndyMark. Look, AndyMark understands that you're under tight budgets, and while prices for FRC components can be expensive, if you're watching this on a Tuesday, well, guess what? It's your lucky day. Go over to AndyMark.com every Tuesday and click on Tuesday Deals right on the top of the page. Every Tuesday, AndyMark features up to 67% off some items that are either overstocked, discontinued, or just on sale. This week features wheels, hubs, motors, chain, battery chargers, battery carts, and more. And let's say you have trouble performing on the field. Well, get the performance you need with the 4-inch performance wheel, which has now been redesigned to maximize your performance on the field. Now 33% off only today. But don't worry, if you miss out today, come back next Tuesday for even more deals. Go to AndyMark.com and check out their Tuesday deals and stock up before this limited time offer expires. And a huge thank you to AndyMark once again for their support of First Updates Now, like the show you're seeing.
I'm going to remind everyone, he did mention chain in that. There is chain available, as I know this game has been pretty brutal on some drive chains out there.
All right. So we're going to head on over to the top 25. Another week, another season, man.
Yeah.
Crazy. So we know you guys are, we appreciate your time as always. So we're going to kind of go through these. We're going to give respect to each and every team, but we're going to, go through quickly and efficiently, I guess. And that being said, so go ahead.
Tower, do you want to talk a little bit about the change up we made a little bit and how the votes are calculated?
Oh yeah. So there was somebody made a really good point last week that with doing the weighting of 50% for the points between the experts and the community would actually weight in the experts poll's favor because there's less people voting for that. So what we did what we're going to do moving forward essentially is we will take where they averaged ranked overall and then average those two between each other. So the ranks will be just a little bit different. And if the teams were tied for some reason on average rank, then we took the points as a tiebreaker. So hopefully those will simplify it a bit more for everybody, gives the community and the experts both 50% weight the best we can to it, and we'll produce some good results for us.
Perfect. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. So this was our first weekend of seeing Stronghold in person. Definitely kind of changes the way we talk about things, I guess. Kind of
Totally.
because we saw it in person, can kind of empathize with some teams now and all sorts of stuff.
So for me, it just confirmed very, very harshly how brutal this game is on robots. And it's not even robots, against other robots. It's the robots versus the field is just absolutely devastating. I know I can speak personally for the 3015 robot. It is every screw and bolt is loose, and I'm not exaggerating a bit. It's insane. It's an exciting game. It's a little bit less exciting actually than I expected it to be. I don't know if that's just we're still early on, kind of working our way through the meta game a little bit. But you watched more matches than I did. So what did you think?
I agree with you about the brutality of it. Just so many teams I think are struggling, and I think it depends on event to event, because a lot of times we did see those high scoring events, but we also saw some winning events that were 110 points, stuff like that. So I think it does vary from region to region, event to event, how the game is played. Like the event that we were at was predominantly low goal scoring. That's all everybody did. They had shooters like 3015 can shoot high. There were those other teams that shoot high, but then it's just the effectiveness to get the tower weakened was to put him in the logo.
Absolutely.
Like, that was the key, and that's what you saw.
And it actually became a lot more prevalent. It was actually more beneficial to logo in the elimination rounds because you get that 25-point bonus for capturing.
Yes.
So actually all those low goals that, were worth more in eliminations than they did in qualifications. And when we looked at our scouting data on Friday night, I think there was only 4 or 5 teams at the event that scored a single ball on the high goal. So it'd be interesting to have a discussion. We wanted to the top 25, but we should have a discussion at some point. Is the game too hard?
Is the game too hard?
Write that down.
You might want to write that down at our 10 break. But we have another thing maybe another little mini soapbox for later. But
yeah, maybe next week.
Yeah,
it's a mini one. That's why I said mini.
All right.
This is our show, Tyler. I'm just kidding. So that being said, let's get into the top 25. Lead it off.
All right. So the 25th ranked team for week 2, 2016 is team number 3937
from Searcy, Arkansas, and Harding Academy. It's Team Breakaway with a season record of 12-3, and they were finalists at the Arkansas Rock City event.
So leading off this week's top 25 is Breakaway from the great state of Arkansas. After a stellar 2012 rookie season, 3937 has won at least one regional in the past 2 seasons and look to extend that streak this year, coming right after 2056. Leading off with that was the Arkansas Rock City Regional. They ranked 3rd and were captain the number 2 alliance. Hitting their eliminations, their alliance scores went up just about every match, topping out at 139 in the semifinals. And took on a tough number 1 alliance in the finals. Facing robots attached to the name of Novak and Copioli are tough, and 3937 just couldn't take the win. But congrats on making an awesome impression with the voters, and good luck at the Smoky Mountains Regional.
So we hit that on a couple other teams later, but having to face teams with mentors with the last names of Novak and Copioli on the same team.
I'll start polishing off that finalist medal. Take it and go home and be happy about it.
For sure. Well, congrats to Team 3937. Up next, we have in our 24th spot, we have Team 1747.
From West Lafayette, Indiana, William Henry Harrison High School, it's Harrison Boiler Robotics, 16-3 overall and winners of the Tippecanoe District event.
And Tyler too. 1747, first made an appearance in back-to-back weeks, way back in season 3 of the FRC Top 25. Welcome back and congrats on your performance this past weekend at the Tippecanoe event. With the defense crosser high goal autonomous shot, it was no wonder they were selected the #1 alliance by 1024 kilobytes. This alliance with up a 45 would hit their stride, beating the previous world record before the 200 club, scoring 186 in quarterfinal 1, match number 1. 1747 has a wicked fast, high velocity, high goal shot, and are definitely deserving of being here on the top 25. Congrats, guys, and good luck at your 2 remaining district events this season. It's definitely cool. Definitely cool shot that they got.
I know there's a thread on Cheap Delphi about high velocity shooters. I wonder if they're up in there. I haven't checked that recently, but yeah, they're smoking. Yeah.
Yeah, they just whip it right in. Like there's no trajectory on it, just straight in. Pretty cool.
Believe me, I know this is out of left field, but what do you think President William Henry Harrison would think about having a first robotics team named after him? Like, if you could have that conversation now, it's like, holy cow.
Yeah.
He was the 9th president of the United States.
Oh, my gosh.
Crazy.
All right.
So coming up next, we have in the 23rd spot, team number 1024.
Just mentioned them from Indianapolis, Indiana, Mackenzie Center for Innovation and Tech. It's the Kilobytes with a season record of 17-2. They are the winners at the Tippecanoe District event.
So from one member of the winning alliance at Tippecanoe to the next, 1024 the Kilobytes took the top spot, going 11-1, and with a ranking score of 36, exactly three ranking points per match, which is an amazing effort. As mentioned, they selected 1747 and 45 with their picks. Team 1024 is part of Team Catapult, as well as hashtag Team Flashlight, as Travis has ran on Chief Delphi. They're accurate in the high goal and quick to conquer defenses. When you think of Indiana first, one of the first teams that comes to mind is always 1024. Always great to see them in the limelight, and good luck at your 2 remaining district events, which are the same one as 1747 is going to go to. Might be a bit of a dynasty building there.
A little dynasty. Interesting. Yeah, that could be a whole other topic of the flashlight thing.
I think we need to get Nick, our producer behind the scenes, our soundboard from last year.
I was thinking I could put it on my phone. I have it on my phone.
Interesting. Classic.
We have the technology.
Yes, we do.
That's true. That's not something we're like. All right, moving right along. Our 22nd ranked team is Team 1323.
From Madera, California, Madera High School, it's Madtown Robotics. 11-8 overall with the finalists of the Central Valley Regional.
So shout out to season 4, which is 2014, when Madtown Robotics last appeared in the top 25. And welcome back. We're glad to have you. This past weekend at the Central Valley Regional, 1323 placed 8th, going 6-4 with a 21 ranking score. They ended up captaining their own alliance, selecting 58-17 and 56-77, as well as 8. We kind of mentioned that before. They had to call in the backup. As a 6 seed, they went through and beat the 3rd seed and the 2 seed on the way to face the number 1 seed in the finals. Not much could stop 16-78, 254, and 39-70, but 1323 and company did give it everything they had, but came up short in 2 matches. Congrats on making it the top 25 again this year. Good luck the rest of the way.
So 1323 is a pretty prolific record of the Central Valley Regional. They've never, since I'm going back now, I'm at 2011. They've never left Central Valley without medal of some color. So it's just a great testament to the consistency that they bring.
And I don't know if it was mentioned, but they did get the wild card, so they'll be going to champs.
I actually really do like that feature on the Blue Alliance now, where it says wild card.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I didn't notice.
It's pretty cool. All right, so from 22 to 21, we have team 125.
It's Team 125 from Boston, Massachusetts, Boston, Latin, Brooklyn, and Revere High Schools. It's the Neutrons. With a 13-3 record, they were winners at the Arizona North Regional.
So getting their first experience of Stronghold outside of their district, way outside of their district, Neutrons have already punched their tickets to the championship after their performance at the Arizona North Regional this past weekend. Finishing 4th, they were selected first overall by Team 2122, Team Taters. As we don't see all the entire Stronghold field that often, we saw the number 1 alliance face the number 2 alliance in the finals. The Neutrons were able to put up some good scores in the playoffs and won in 2 matches in the finals with scores of 112 and 145. All the pressure is off as they have earned the right to St. Louis, returning to the district model for their next competition.
Here we are.
I have to say, pretty happy I ordered a Neutrons hoodie from their public sale, which I encourage more teams to do because it's fantastic and it's a great hoodie. So,
What do you mean by public sale?
So they post on Facebook, like, does anybody want to buy a Neutrons hoodie? And and they sent you,
Google Doc?
an order, and you paid, and they sent it to you. So
okay.
it's kind of a cool way to get some swag from
Or
some
you can
teams.
just donate
Or
to the
you
show.
could- yeah, or you
just
could-
give us stuff.
Why don't you just give us all those stuff?
All right, moving on. Our 20th ranked team is Team 624.
From Katy, Texas, Cinco Ranch High School, it's Kryptonite. 10-5 overall with the finalists at the Alamo Regional.
So a team that is a part of that strong Texas alliance, Kryptonite, returned to the Alamo Regional after winning it most recently in 2014. Team 624 was selected second overall by 3005 or 3005, however you want to say it, Tyler, after going 6-2 and placing fourth. Side note, this was a 66 team regional. Which I think was only 9 away from a division field size, right? Because I think it's 75. So just a huge regional. 625 led the way as their alliance scored 161 in quarterfinal match 1, but never could get back to that level, only scoring as high as 116 after that, as well as losing in the finals to the number 1 seed. 624 still has 2 more regionals scheduled for the 2016 season, so I'm sure we'll see them on the top 25 again, and if not, in a higher spot.
And we'll see them in championships for sure, I think.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah, they'll be going.
All right. From the 20s to the teens, we have team number 180.
From Stuart, Florida, Martin County and Jensen Beach High Schools, it's SPAM. With a 14-1 record, they were winners at the Orlando Regional.
So no stranger to the top 25. 180 SPAM makes their debut on the shelf.
Yeah, because it's SPAM. They're on the shelf.
In the cupboard in the pantry. After competing at the Orlando Regional that Mike previewed last week and recapped this week. Living up to their premiere night video, SPAM was selected first overall by 233, the pink team, having an 8-1 record with 24 ranking points. Shooting from the outer works and being part of hashtag Team Catapult are a couple of the keys to success for SPAM. Winning in the regional in 6 matches, topping out with a score of 148, SPAM took home the gold. Double gold, actually, and a big congratulations to you guys on your Regional Chairman's Award.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. I got a little carried away because it said not your mama's lunch and meat. So
That's good.
No love for spam in the community poll, by the way. The expert poll definitely dragged them in the top 25.
There you go.
I actually, I'll be honest. I was a little bit on the fence of the expert community poll. I really like it. It's kind of that overlay just is awesome. You get a nice balance of what the community thinks, what our experts think.
Yeah,
it's definitely a very, very cool feature.
Absolutely. All right, let's do it. Our 18th ranked team is Team 4488.
From Hillsboro, Oregon, Glencoe High School at Shockwave. 16-3 overall with the winners of the Wilsonville District event.
So competing in their first district event this season in Pacific Northwest, Shockwave ranked second after a 10-2 run with 33 ranking points. They were taken off the board first by 14-25, and after adding 37-11, they headed to the playoffs. Breezing easily through the quarterfinals and semifinals, it took 3 matches in the finals for them to take the win, but they did. Shockwave heads to Philomath next to that event next, looking to add some more medal and banners to the 2016 season. Congrats and welcome back to the top 25. We've had them here before, and it's a great looking machine for sure. And good luck, guys.
And it's a great looking machine every year. Like they're a team that's since their inception, they've been a staple in the top 25. They really build great robots that are just very nice, clean looking, great designs. I love a Shockwave robot.
Oh yeah. What does the X mean, by the way?
So that's it.
Okay.
All right. So in the 17th spot, we have Team 2013.
From Clearview Township, Ontario, Canada, it's ITS. Oh, and ITS schools. It's the Cyber Gnomes. I'm sorry.
Swing and a miss.
Swing and a miss. With the I knew that. With a 9-6 record overall, they were semifinalists at the GTR East.
So competing this weekend in a dense field that is Toronto Robots, the Cybergnomes won the North Bay Regional last year and look to match that success this past weekend at GTR East. Ranking third above many other good teams with a 9-1 record, they captained the third alliance and selected 610 and 5596 to join them. Beating the 6th seed in the quarterfinals, they just couldn't edge out the well-experienced number 2 alliance of 1241, 1114, and 2935 in the semifinals. So way to stick it out in a place where the competition is so great and dense, and good luck defending your North Bay regional title in a couple weeks to the Cyber Gnomes.
There you are. Oh, yeah. I got rid of that. Yeah. That's fine. That was 17, and this is 16. Our 16th ranked team is Team 233.
Some of my favorite teams to say in the whole
Oh,
world.
yeah.
So from Rockledge, Cocoa Beach, Florida, Rockledge, Cocoa Beach, Space Coast, and Vieira High School is this the pink team. 14-1 overall winners at the Orlando region.
There are some that just rolls off the tongue.
That's
It's perfect.
awesome.
After much anticipation to see this Florida powerhouse's robot, 233 filled all anticipation by taking the #1 seed at the Orlando Regional. They did this beating out 62 other teams, going 8-1, scoring an average of 3 ranking points per match. Selecting 180 and 45-92, they headed to the finals to defend that Southern reputation. 6 matches was all it took for this alliance, scoring as high as 151 in the finals. The pink team aided their team by crossing defenses easily and depositing balls into the courtyard for their alliance to score them in a later time as well as himself. Congrats and good luck the rest of the way. Congrats on another regional win. And they're just one of those teams, man, from Florida.
Every year.
So should they go to districts? It's a 61-team regional.
I don't know.
Do you think regionals are? This might be another question. Do you think districts are pushing teams that would go to those events out into different regionals, which is why they have so many teams there? Does that make sense?
Be. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I think that could be a reason. I'd like to know more about why FIRST pushes districts in certain areas and not others, right? So, like for example, if the primary reason or one of the primary reasons for districts is keeping, reducing travel for teams. Maybe in Florida, because Orlando is, central, Miami's all the way down here. They have a lot of teams, and maybe the Florida district doesn't make too much sense, thing like that.
Oh, you're right.
But
I'm
sure Tower could give us a little bit of insight there, maybe. But.
Sorry, I'm fixing the chat. Or trying to at least. So, in regards to team and pink team.
No. Oh. No, not that. No, he's totally lost. That's fine.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, buddy.
It's totally fine.
Slippage.
All right. So we go from the pink team in the number 16 spot to the 15th spot in team number 2122.
From Boise, Idaho, Treasure Valley Math and Science Center High School, it's the pink team. It's Team Wow, I can't do this. It's Team Taters with a 14-2 overall record. They were winners at Arizona North Regional.
So Taters debuted 13th in week 3 of last season's FRC Top 25, and to start the 2016 season, they're taking the 15th spot after competing at the Arizona North Regional. Having an identical record to the second place team, they edged them out by 3 ranking points. Selecting a New England District favorite, 125 with their first pick and 498 with the second, they needed just 6 matches to bring home the gold. This is the 3rd year in a row with regional wins for Team Taters, and one of those teams definitely piquing some interest. And the future is bright for the students from Boise. Bright Boise.
I think we got grilled on that pronunciation.
Boise?
I think it's Boise.
Even if it is, I'm going Boise. I'm sticking with it.
Boise.
Boise, Idaho.
Boise. All right. That's 15. This is 14. Up next, we got 6'10".
From Toronto, Ontario, Canada, the Crescent School, it's Crescent Robotics, 9-6 overall, and the semifinalists at the GTR East Regional.
So the students from the Crescent School in Toronto with the robot Stingray competed this past weekend at the Greater Toronto East Regional. Stingray is a very fast cycler, taking the defenses with ease as they deposit balls into the low goal. They have a low goal autonomous, and then watching the robot climb at the end is awesome as they do it quickly and can even score a ball into the high goal once they're up in the air. The one video that's on, if you just put in 6'10" on Blue Alliance, the one video that they have, watch that one because they do it at the very end. They climb and then they just shoot into the high goal while they're elevated. At GTR East, they placed 8th with the 26 ranking score. They were selected by 2013. They fought hard, putting up good numbers, but just couldn't get out of the semis, playing the powerful number 2 alliance. Awesome robot as always, and good luck the rest of the season.
All right. So are they not the Coyotes anymore? Is it Crescent Robotics now? I guess
it says Crescent Robotics on Blue Alliance, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's why I was confused too when I saw that when we recap the event.
Yeah,
take us a while for us to stop saying it that way.
All right.
I think if they're in the list, we'll be happy. Whatever you call them.
I'm not so
Deal
sure about
with it.
We've gotten quite a bit of flack before.
Oh yeah.
But so we kind of talked about this team kind of a little backwards a little bit earlier. Team number 3310.
From Heath, Texas, Rockwall Heath High School. It's Blackhawk Robotics with a 14-1 season overall record, and they were the winners at the Arkansas Rock City Regional.
So coming out of the top 25 scene last year, Blackhawk Robotics makes their debut here at number 13. They competed this past week in Arkansas Rock City Regional, placing second, going 8-0 in a 24 ranking score. They were selected by the number 1 team at the event, team number 16, the Bomb Squad. I thought these two teams had teamed up before, but with a quick TBA search shows otherwise. As I mentioned before, an alliance with mentors, the last names of Novak and Copioli, would make anyone shiver, myself included. These two would also add team 60-55 and battled through power outages, whatever it took to win the regional in 6 matches, putting up a high score of 172 in quarterfinal 1, match 1. So awesome job and good luck at Hub City at the end of the month as they compete back in Texas.
Is Paul still coaching?
I don't know if he's coaching.
Between Paul and Brandon, man, maybe had that on top.
I don't think he's coaching anymore because
What did he coach last year though?
Yeah, yep, he was definitely coaching them at Dallas, and I was there.
Yeah,
was he? Oh.
So I don't know. All right, let's do it. Moving on, number 12, we have team number 330
from Hermosa Beach, California, Hope Chapel Academy. It's the Beach Bots, 12-3 overall finalists at the Los Angeles Regional.
So definitely a team that kind of flew under the radar this past week because with all these events going on, with so many good teams playing, 330 I don't think was mentioned really, if at all, if very seldom last week when we were here. So, and here they are at number 12. So placing 5th, scoring just under 3 ranking points per match. The Beach Bots were selected by 294 Beach Cities Robotics. They challenged number 2 and number 3 seed on the way to the finals to face the tough one alliance of 987, 1197, and 5012. They lost the first match, only scoring 115, but battled back, winning the second match with a score of 170. But it was the number 1 seed who took the rubber match. Awesome job. Always a team that makes it here in the top 25 one way or another. And good luck at your next regional, which is the Ventura Regional.
Very good. And I just want to mention, no disrespect to any of these teams. I know we're kind of moving it pretty quickly, but it is our goal every week to kind of keep it in that 90-minute time frame. And it looks like, again, we're going to miss it by just a tad, but we're going to kind of keep it rolling here as best we can.
Oh, we just don't want to keep you guys up too late. But, yeah, I think we're running fine on time, guys. We want to make sure we get to the, especially the top 10, so I think we'll be good.
Perfect. So our soapbox will be late. All right, go ahead.
All right, so before we break into the top 10, we're going to pause here after 11 with Team 973.
From you even correct me.
I coached you. I tried. I knew it was coming. It's a tough one, man.
Atascadero, California. I gotta say it again.
Yeah.
Atascadero High School. It's the Gray Bots. 11-4 overall record. They are semifinalists at the Centre Valley Regional.
Yeah, I type quick, sometimes badly. 973 owns the 11th spot here in Season 6 after their semifinal appearance at the Central Valley Regional this past weekend. The Gray Bots can take defense and autonomous, cross quickly in teleop, and part of Team Flashlight to help them guide boulders into the high goal. They placed 5th and was selected 2nd overall to join 51-37, adding 21-35. They cruised through quarterfinals. One match in the semifinals versus number 60, but couldn't quite complete it, and unfortunately losing in the semifinals. And I want to shout out or make a special shout out to Adam Hurd, who won a long overdue Woody Flowers Award.
Finalist award, yeah.
For 973 at Central Valley. So huge congratulations to him. I know how much effort he puts not only into 973, but with the remote mentoring program that he kind of started and championed there. He does great things. So congratulations to him and the rest of 973, and good luck at the Ventura Regional.
That's it. Good luck. Brings us to number, we're going to do 10 in a second, so we will take a small break. Yeah. So this is kind of our mini soapbox that we have, and it's kind of going to be, when I ask the question, it's going to be because there's a team that was on the top 25 that made it. But this is kind of a question we've asked before.
I want you to direct it to Tyler and see what he thinks about it.
There you go.
Then I'll
all right. Surprise me.
But it has nothing to do with any teams that we have mentioned so far. It has brought it up to my attention. So should district teams be allowed to compete outside of districts?
I think the real question is, should non-district teams be allowed to compete in districts?
Also a good question.
And I think the answer is yes to both.
Yeah.
I think more play needs to be opened up in general, right? And that's always the trick with everything. But I mean, why is intra-district play allowed? Which it should be, right? But why is that allowed but not non-district teams, why aren't they allowed to come in and play in a district then? Like, that
Makes
doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And I guess first thing, it would be a little bit maybe too convoluted to do something like that, but I really don't, see how hard logistically that would be, as you just go and sign up for events, right?
Right.
So that shouldn't matter for something like that. And yeah, I mean, I think that it should be every regional or every event should be open to everybody, as long as in district specifically, as long as they fill up their slots that they need to fill for their district teams.
Correct.
Those open slots should be open for anybody.
Yeah. And one thing, and again, I don't mean to pick on Bedford Express, because they're a fantastic
that's
team.
not even who I mentioned.
No, I know. But because we were competing at Pittsburgh, and there was some discussion because they had won Engineering Inspiration at their first district event, and they were competing at Pittsburgh, where we, of course, were presenting for chairmans. And we were kind of discussing, are they allowed to win chair? Like, are they presenting for chairmans? Because we can't go to Michigan and, present for chairman. So they kind of get another kind of extra chance outside of their district before going back in and getting another
I don't know
chance.
if you can do inter-district thing for chairmans anymore, right? Or at all.
They can't compete, and they can't
They can't go to
regional.
MAR, for example, and do chairmans there, I don't think, can they?
I don't know about that, but they definitely competed for chairmans at Pittsburgh. So they were able to go to a regional and still compete for chairmans as well as their district. So
it's kind of like, so what Tyler, you're kind of saying is like it should be all or nothing, right? It should be completely transparent or completely back and forth, or not at all.
Yeah, why not? I guess I'm not for the not at all, but I think it should be open for everybody. And I think the grandeur with that is that there's not going to be that many spots really available. I mean, obviously there's some, right? Because there are some teams competing inter-district, but there aren't that many spots available. But there's no reason not to open it up for other teams. And the only question is, and I excuse my ignorance on this because I'm not in the district area, but when teams compete inter-district, how does that count towards points for their district? Because like if my team, for example, goes, let's say they did open it up for everybody. If my team, who is a traditional event team, went to a district and let's say we won or something like that, what does that actually mean for us? Is it just practice, or what is the outcome of that?
Yeah,
this always gets we should have a separate show for this, because there's so many things.
Honestly, we could. Yeah,
there's a lot, but that's kind of it. So I don't know. It was just
some food for thought.
Some food for thought. So we'll keep it moving, since Mike has to work the night shift tonight.
You do?
I do.
What time do you go in?
I said about like 25 after I gotta leave, so we'll be all right. All right, let's do it. Our 10th ranked team is team 987
from Las Vegas, Nevada, Cimarron Memorial High School. It's the High Rollers, 12-3 overall winners. Oh no! Oh, I can't read. I didn't update that.
Where were they?
Looking for 987?
Los Angeles. Winners at the Los Angeles Regional.
So that being said, right, shamefully, another team that kind of flew under our radar this past weekend, despite being like really good friends of ours, like Trent is a great friend of ours, like just again, so many teams that had competed, and they were on Einstein last year. The High Rollers returned to Los Angeles Regional for the first time since 2012, where they had won it back then. 987 finished sixth and were taken off the board first by 1197, the Torbots. This alliance with 50-12 really hit their stride, scoring as high as 182 in the finals. 987 has two more regionals to attend this year, as well as their hometown regional, Las Vegas, up next. Another team that is doing it right. We talk a lot about 359, the Hawaiian kids, but 987, the High Rollers, has an amazing chairman's program. They get tons of grants. They've got an awesome workspace, amazing robots, great mentors, great students. They are just another team that is doing it right in first.
Well, and I actually, I spoke about on our other show, Spotlight, a while ago. On this past summer, I actually got to go to their facility because I was in Las Vegas on vacation. And yeah, just an absolutely gorgeous facility that they have there. And this year they expanded too, because their facility came because their woodshop program dropped out. So they were able to get that space. And now another program moved out of their high school, so they're getting more space. And they, I don't know if you said this, and I apologize, but they essentially furnished their shop through a grant they got through Lowe's. Which put in new cabinets and that sort of thing, and they were able to get a few other grants. They got some really nice equipment and machinery in there, so definitely set up a really positive environment there that they have with a full size field right in the middle of their shop too. It's very, very nice.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
We've seen like just kind of video clips of it.
Kind of sad that they lost their woodshop program, but cool that they were able to still make the best of it.
Yeah.
All right, so we're getting down and down to the single digits. In the 9th spot, we have team number 1986.
From Lee Summit, Missouri, Lee Summit West High School, it's Team Titanium, 16-0 undefeated and winners at the Greater Kansas City Regional.
So returning to GKC Regional, where they won from 2012 to 2014, they look to add another win this year. Seeing the robot on premiere night made us all excited to see it in action, and finishing first and averaging 3.4 ranking points per match. They also led the regional in auto, scale challenge, goals, and defenses. Clearly the best robot there. They selected 1775 and 4455 and head to the playoffs as the favorites. Scoring as high as 160 in quarterfinal 1 match 2, Team Titanium added yet another regional win and another win at Greater Kansas City at that. Congratulations to them and good luck as they compete later on at the Smoky Mountains Regional.
Like I was just looking them up, I was like, all right, ranking points obviously the number 1. I was like, all right, you like kind of sort by, you can sort the things on blue lines. It's like, yep, they were there, and that one, and that one, and that one. They were like, I think the first team I think that I've seen this year at a regional lead the way in all of those.
Definitely.
So congrats.
Yep. And
so up next, we have in our 8th spot, we have team 1241.
From Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, Rick Hansen's secondary school, it's 36. 14-3 overall, the finalists of the GTR East Regional.
So 36 is a part of #Tallbot, competed this past weekend at GTR East. As Karthik said, this team being world champions has actually never won a regional and looked to change that at GTR. Placing second, they selected 1114, who they have never played with before, both being powerhouses in Canada. That's also and starting the same year. In fact, kind of one of those interesting facts. With the help of 2935, played some awesome matches in the playoffs, scoring as high as 190 in the semifinals. As the underdogs playing a number 1 alliance in the finals, they pushed it to 3 matches, winning the first, but just couldn't pull off the victory. Congrats on the Kling Bling, as they picked up an EI as well. They had double silver, and good luck at North Bay and Waterloo. So this is one of those teams, another one of those teams that is kind of just making a name for themselves up in Canada, and just chairman's team, EI team. They're finalists. They've been finalists at a ton of regionals. Just a well-rounded program up there that they got.
And I think it shows that there are teams outside of 2056 and 1114 that can definitely be noticed, and this really shows that they are starting to be noticed. We talked last week about teams in Minnesota starting to come up. There's been a lot of really good teams in Canada for a long time, but they've been overshadowed, and now I think they're starting to really kind of rise to the top along with 2056 and 1114.
Yeah, yep.
Absolutely. And 1241, unfortunately, had to play their sister team 1285 in the quarterfinals. But like you mentioned, never having won a regional, never played with 1114. They finally get a chance to play with 1114, and you got to go against 2056 and 118.
Yeah.
Like, son of a gun.
Yeah.
All
right.
So that was number 8. And now we'll move to number 7 with one of our longtime favorite teams, team number 16.
From Mountain Home, Arkansas, Mountain Home Senior High School, it's the Bomb Squad. 14-1 overall. They were winners at the Arkansas Rock City Regional.
So winning the inaugural Arkansas Regional back in 2014, the Bomb Squad was only quarterfinals last year, and this past weekend set out to reclaim the title in their home state. Going 7-1, they picked up the highest RS. They selected number 2 seed of 3310 and added 60-55. And exciting 6 matches for the first seed alliance was all they needed to take the win. The Bomb Swerve this year is absolutely a thing of beauty. Watching the machine just glide around the field is incredible to watch. Mix that with their accurate high goal score. Bomb Squad is a team that's just we all try to emulate. As well as regional director Meredith Novak fought through power outages, which is probably like the worst case scenario for a regional director. Fought through it all and able to get the win. So congratulations to them and good luck at the Rocket City Regional.
JT's give us a hard time for the way we say mountain.
Mountain Home, Arkansas. Mountain Home.
Just because I wrote that in there, the Bomb Swerve, like that thing is a thing of beauty every year, but for whatever reason, this year just seems that much more better. I know that wasn't right.
Well, with the extra wheels that they have, those plectrum wheels that they have in their underbelly, they just literally just destroy defenses, and it allows them. Every single match just over and over, and it allows them the luxury of getting that much more time to shoot in the high goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just the way it just moves it just doesn't look human or whatever.
Well, it's a robot.
Yeah, I know. Oh, forget it.
Forget it. Let it go.
Forget let it go. Taking our 6th spot. We're heading over to Texas for this one. It's team 148.
From Greenville, Texas, Greenville High School, it's the Robo Wranglers, 14-0, undefeated winners of the Alamo Regional.
So the Robo Wranglers released their yearly post-build picture, and it caused the yearly post-build hype to see the robot in action. The Robo Wranglers returned to the Alamo Regional, not having won it since 2011. They went 8-0 with a 26 ranking score and a 311 goal score, which was 157 points higher than the next closest team. They selected 231 High Voltage overall, who won Alamo back in 2012, as well as second-year team 5726. 148's efficiency on the field is one of the things that make them great. Their high shot is clutch via their catapult, and their scaling at the end is something really a beauty. They won the regional scoring between 149 and 172 through their 6 matches in the finals. If you look at it, it's like a pretty consistent range, kind of up and down a little bit, but pretty consistent amongst the Lions. Good luck in Dedaloo. Good luck in Dedaloo, Dallas, and we'll see them up in Waterloo up here in a couple weeks. I'm really excited to see them. Excited to see Colin and JVN and the whole team as well.
Yeah, it's just another, I don't know, it's another trait of Texas teams going up to Canada this year. So
yeah,
good for them. It's going to be a great event. Speaking of a Texas team, as we continue into the top 5, we have team number 118.
From League City, Texas, Clear Creek High School, it's the Robonauts, 14-3 overall winners at the GTR East Regional.
So making the journey to Canada, the Robonauts look to probably extend or beat the 2056 regional streak. More on that a little bit later. The release videos of 118 usually makes the first community salivate over some of the ingenuitive designs, and this year was no different. It was great seeing another catapult team, and their quickness over the defenses what separates the Robonauts from the rest. Maybe more people can speak to it, but I did not see the grappling hook successfully work.
I talked to Ty a little bit pre-show about that. I can say
you can talk about that. 118 was first taken off the board by 2056, an honor and an expectation as they continue that regional win streak. Awesome to see the game played at such a high level, and the 200 club is no joke. Congrats on the win, and good luck at Rocket City and Star.
So they know they're going in there, right? They're like, we're either going to take down 2056 or we're going to help 2056 extend their streak, and that's kind of exactly what happened. So yeah, we talked to Tyler a little bit just because I didn't see all the matches. We were out a little bit, but didn't have any successful grapples in the eliminations. It sounds like did have some throughout the day of Friday, I think, and Tyler says their practice day looked awesome. So I'm kind of trying to down a little bit, but they always battle back, and we'll see them. So
it's one of those things where maybe they figured, well, they were close matches, so it'd be interesting to learn a bit more about if that was a strategic decision or it doesn't.
They attempted it.
Oh, a couple of misses.
They missed all the time. Yeah. All right.
Approaching a little closer to the end here.
That's it. Moving on to number 4. We're gonna hear about team 1114
from St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. Governor Simcoe Secondary School, Robotics, 12-5 overall finalists at the GTR East Regional.
All right. So catching a glimpse of the robot a few days before GTR East, I can speak for all of us that we're really excited to see Simbot Sentinel. Going 7-2 through 10 matches, 1114 fought hard all weekend long, having to play most of the teams that beat them in the rankings. So 41 would take the number 2 seed, and from 2056 selected 118. 36 would select 1114. As we had just mentioned and had Karthik had said, these two teams both starting the same year, both being world champions, had never played together before. As expected, they reached the finals and took the first match, but couldn't hold on during the next 2. 1114 is a sleek robot with an amazing climb. Absolutely love watching that climb at the end. It's just so tall, and it's just like right in the way of the drivers there at the end. It's kind of really funny. Just really love their design. Great job as always. We'll see them next at Waterloo. Maybe I won't even say that.
All right, top 3.
This is it.
In the 3rd spot, team 1678.
From Davis, California, Davis Senior High School, it's the Citrus Circuits, 15-0-1 overall, and they were winners at the Central Valley Regional.
So defending champions of the world make their 2016 debut in the number 3 spot. Citrus Circuits went 9-0-1 at the Central Valley Regional, putting up 3.2 RPs per match. Selected the Ivy's choice with their first pick in 254 and rounded it out with 3970. The Citrus, I can't say Citrus Circuits.
Citrus Circuits.
1678's key to success is their defense crossing high goal auto shot, as well as the fast cycles to keep scoring in the high goal. Love the high goal of the high shooter / intake on the robot. They can raise it up even higher when they go to shoot. To end the match, they have a quick and easy scaler, which adds points in the last few seconds. We expect some more regional wins at Sacramento and Silicon Valley, as well as maybe a repeat trip to Einstein.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, just watching them, man, it's cool. They got a really awesome robot. I love it. Cool. So all the drama's in the 2 spot. We are going to go over to Tyler real quick. He's going to give some quick honorable mentions about some teams that just may have missed the top 25.
Yeah, so just I'm not going to mention them in any particular order, but I know there's some teams that really thought they're going to be able to squeak in, and either the community poll or the expert poll either dragged them down or pulled them a little back up. But just a few that kind of made that the top 40 essentially out there. We have 1425, 2451, 1675, 3620. 1418, 1671, 1698, just to mention a few. And we're going to post them all up on Cheap Dolphin a little bit. And huge thank you to Orangemore for actually posting the rankings right now live on Cheap Dolphin. You can go and check them out on there right now. So thank you for that. And we'll also get our website updated in a little bit too and start posting the 2016 rankings on there. So you can go to firstupdatesnow.com and check out rankings.
Yes. So all the drama's in the 2 spot. Moving on. Our second ranked team is Team 254.
From San Jose, California, Bellarmine College Prep. It's the Cheesy Poofs, 15-1 overall winners of the Central Valley Regional.
So the Cheesy Poofs are the defending winners of the Central Valley Regional. Coming out of the gate, the robot looks a little different than their release, and it was awesome watching it perform. The turret makes it so they can score virtually from anywhere, in any position, through defense robots. Anything you can really think of. They can kind of go anywhere around the tower and score. They were eked out by another California powerhouse and defending world champion in 1678 for the #1 seed, but I'm sure they were probably eyeing up each other the whole weekend anyways. So
Probably.
as long as one of them finished first, right? 254 went 9-1, had a 30 ranking score, and in the eliminations went on to help with the world high score of 205.
210.
Is 210. Yep. Congrats to the Poofs and good luck at the Silicon Valley Regional.
If I was 254, I'd probably be eyeing up 1678 myself.
That's true.
Yeah, and I think those two teams are really interchangeable on who could have taken, who would have been ahead of each other in this week in the FRC top 25. I think my personal vote actually probably would have been for Citrus Circuits, but I mean, 254 definitely has, I think, a little bit more name recognition, and we all know there's a little bit of bias in that too. But both robots, both phenomenal. It's hard to really argue too much on who should be in what spot for that.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm laughing because Anthony thinks 28-26 is going to be next.
Sounds legit.
All right. So before we announce the inevitable #1 ranked team, I just want to thank everyone again this week for voting, and the support of our show is always important. We can't have a show like this without people voting each week, and I don't have the exact numbers on the votes this week, but if you voted this week, we certainly thank you for that.
Yeah, it was around about 100 again, guys. So thank you once again for
that's really
voting.
fantastic.
So vote. Grab your students. Grab your whatever. Watch matches this weekend. Sit around, come up with a list yourself, and please vote. That's the only way to kind of maybe change the rankings if you don't like them. That's kind of what I always say. So let's do it.
All right. So proud to announce in the #1 spot for week 2, FRC Top 25 is team number 2056.
From Orchard Park, Ontario, Canada, Orchard Park Secondary School, it's OP Robotics. Season record of 16-1 and winners at the Greater Toronto East Regional.
So the streak remains alive. Michael Jordan status, 23 regional wins in a row. Congratulations to OP on another stellar performance. Perfect 10-0 through qualifications, scoring 35 RPs. That means 5 out of 10 matches they breached and captured. Now it shows their dominance with the level of robots in all of Canada, because they can't do that on their own, amazingly enough. They led ranking scores by 6, auto score by 21, and goal score by 90. In the categories they didn't lead, they were in the top 5. Amazing autonomous, steady, fast, consistent hangs. 2056 just does it all right.
Just watch. I know you were competing. I was home before I had to go into work, but watching them as always, man, it's just an amazing machine. And they, it's just so many teams are struggling with hanging this year, but they're not one of them, and it's just elegant. Their arms go up, they grab, they're up, and it's done. And just awesome. I'm really excited, again, to see them in person up and close at Waterloo. and they'll be competing again at Windsor Essex. But
And I think Tyler said it right with his robot, right? I mean, the robot itself has complexity to it, but the overall functionality is very simple to it.
Yeah.
And just having that form and function mixed together is what creates that great robot that OP Robotics has. And I just got to tell you just a little bit of a funny thing that Tyler, as he departed, he didn't know where his team was going to land, and all he sent us before he left is, "We better not be number 2." So congratulations, Tyler and the rest of OP Robotics.
There's like a backstory to that too.
Yeah, that goes back a few years.
Justin and I have had to deliver the number 2 sticker at championships to them like twice or 3 I don't know. But
yeah.
like,
So for those who don't know, for the final top 25 going into championship, we like to make robot stickers for teams to put on the robots. And it was just the first time, we had to bring the number 2 stickers. Like, oh, we're number 2. That's cool. The next year it was like, sorry, Tyler, number 2 again.
yeah.
So we'll see how it works out this year. They have an amazing robot, and it wouldn't surprise me to see them end up number 1 in the final top 25.
That's it, man. So that's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining with us. And we'll be back next week, same time, same place. I know Tyler's gonna close us out here, but
He's gonna play us out.
Well, as Mike said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And yeah, if you guys love the show, tell a friend, post it on your favorite social media forum. You can subscribe to us through our multiple different channels. We really just want to keep the show growing more and more and more. That's our goal, and I hope it is yours too, so we can make First even more loud. If you have feedback for us, feel free to email us at firstupdatesnow@gmail.com, and you know our website, firstupdatesnow.com. You can catch fun shows live weekly on Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget to cast your vote for the FRC Top 25 Weekly. Polls will open on Sunday and close on Monday at 8 p.m. Week 3 is ahead. We're going to cover it all, everybody. Good luck to all teams competing this weekend, and we're going to see you next time on Fun Recap featuring FRC Top 25. Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Good night.